This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN
and Smokey Bong. I'm not saying I just woke up and I don't know what the fuck's going on. But I just woke up and I don't know what the fuck's going on. Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Monday and it feels like a Monday. I got off of the stream last night and looked outside and went, holy shit. About 3 or 4 inches of snow at least by the time I had done this show. Told you we were getting heavy snow here in a place where it doesn't fucking snow. Wild ass weather. The cats didn't know what the fuck to think. I asked Smokey if he wanted to put his harness on and go outside in it this morning. He didn't seem too keen on it. So instead, he and we took a nap this afternoon, and I woke up about 20 minutes before I was supposed to do this shit, so get you up on what's been going on in my life. Ha ha ha. Also not high enough for this shit at all, because I'm not high enough, period. Not high at all. I think I might have hit the hype once when I came in here. I can't even verify that. We'll take care of that here in a second, though. What are we going to talk about tonight? We got shit. I kind of was hoping I would sleep through the show because I don't want to talk about AOC's feet. Nobody wants to talk about AOC, or I'm sorry, her boyfriend's feet. That was the topic of conversation. AOC's fucking boyfriend's feet. Apparently she was down in Miami for some kind of an event over the weekend. It was outdoors and people were maskless and the ride is going nuts. Calling AOC a hypocrite. And for some reason they were focused on the fact that her boyfriend was wearing sandals. Fucking weirdos. No, usually with the ride it is about AOC's feet, I do believe. We're going to talk about Devin Nunes, who resigned from Congress today. Rumor going around that Nancy Pelosi will step down at least as speaker come next term. We're going to hear from Michael Knowles, who's going to tell us about the gayest commercials, whatever the fuck that means. My good friend Jake dropped a little clip from his show. It's about 5 minutes long, talking about the historical lies of the left. So why not watch it? We're also going to talk about mass formation psychosis. Apparently it was something that Dr. Malone said on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple of days ago, and the right is latched onto this. Holy shit. We're going to hear from Ron DeSantis. The Chicago Teachers Union is getting ready to stage a walkout over COVID protocols. But first, if most cops are good cops, surely they won't mind giving us their DNA to test against past and present rape kits. I think that's just sound logic. I don't know about you guys. Also, we're going to talk about this Antonio Brown thing. Everybody has been up in arms about him throwing his jersey into the crowd and walking off the field mid-game. There is some speculation that he may be suffering from CTE. Big Doug! Welcome to the Troll Patrol, Big Doug. I'm Big Doug now. I cracked Sparkles up with that. Oh, Warlord in Discord sent me this understand your bias quiz. So that should be fun. We're going to do that here on air. I will tell you that the ride is apparently leaving for Getter. Well, you couldn't get her away from me that easily. Justin FREAKIN created his Getter account today. Like I bask in the hate over on BitChute and Rumble. I'll bask in the hate on Getter, along with the hate I get on Parlor. I'm so not high enough for this. Here's you another meme. Giddy up, Sparkle Farts. There's chaos to spread. I wanted to send that to Sparkles, but I'm still banned on Facebook Messenger. Seriously. Vaccine rates still lagging as Omicron just takes over the fucking country. Wow, 20 fucking %. Cases are soaring. Oh. Of course we're gonna that low. Those are rookie numbers, son. Gotta bump those numbers up. I love Wolf of Wall Street. That's one of my favorite movies. I think I have professed my love for Leonardo DiCaprio many times on this show. Huge fan, huge fan. Starting off tonight, yes, breaking news. We're going to talk about Elizabeth Holmes here in a second. A drone attack on a U.S. base was thwarted, apparently. We don't know much about it. 2 armed drones were shot down on Monday as they approached an Iraqi military base hosting U.S. forces near Baghdad's international airport. This is according to Iraqi security sources. Nobody was hurt in the incident. Now, this is the anniversary of the assassination of Soleimani. Oh, yeah, the Quaalude scene. That's one of my favorite scenes as well. And him thinking he got back with his car intact. I haven't seen it in several years. I'm thinking he got back with his car intact, but it like completely fucking demolished. That was when I really became a fan of Jonah Hill. I need to watch it again. I tried to, Sparkles has never seen it, and I've tried multiple times, like, hey, we should watch Wolf of Wall Street. That's a great fucking movie. You need to see that. She's also never seen Vice, the movie about Dick Cheney. Fucking love that movie, too. That movie is great. It's movie night. It's a movie Monday night. Why do people keep bringing up Nick Cage movies to me? If it's got Nick Cage in it and it's not Raising Arizona, I've not seen it. I am no fan of Nick Cage, that's for sure. Monday night movie night. I'd like to watch a movie. Fucking hot in here. Hold on. Phone's over here. Apparently, got love for Nick Cage. I've ran people off. There are less people in here. I can't open the window. It's goddamn cold outside. No window for me. It's fucking like 20 degrees out there. In a place where it doesn't get 20 degrees usually. So you think, Scrappy? I am very particular about the movies I watch, and I don't like Nick Cage at all. At all. You can go fuck Nick Cage. Sorry. I'm just saying. Cancel Justin. Yes, cancel Justin. People have been trying to cancel Justin, believe me. Especially now that I'm back at full capacity where I'm on all the social media. I'm not banned on anything right now. My freaking news this morning went out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble. All the fucking platforms had Justin Freakin on it today. And holy shit, did I ruffle some feathers. Don't go watch a Nick Cage movie. You're watching the Troll Patrol. Far more entertaining than a Nick Cage movie. Far more entertaining. Has to be. I'm sorry. Warg? What's warg mean? What's warg mean, Warlord? I've never seen that word before. I wrestled a lot of jimmies. Former Theranos CEO Elizabeth Holmes has been found guilty of fraud and conspiracy. A jury found fallen Silicon Valley star Elizabeth Holmes guilty of fraud for turning her blood testing startup Theranos into a sophisticated sham, one that duped billionaires and other unwitting investors into backing a seemingly revolutionary company whose medical technology never worked, as Holmes promised. The reason why she's seeing consequences for her actions, she stole from rich people. Steal from a bunch of poor people, you aren't going to see any consequences. Steal from rich people, they'll throw the fucking book at you. 37-year-old Holmes was found guilty on 2 counts of wire fraud and 2 counts of conspiracy to commit fraud on Monday after 7 days of jury deliberations. The jury decision followed a 3-month trial featuring dozens of witnesses, including Holmes herself, and numerous exhibits. She now faces up to 20 years in prison. Fucking 20. The fucking kid with the malfunctioning brakes that didn't do anything fucking wrong got 110 fucking years. She now faces up to 20 years in prison for each guilty count, although legal experts say she's unlikely to receive anything close to the maximum sentence. Only guilty of believing! Oh my god! The jury deadlocked on the 3 remaining charges. The split verdicts are a mixed bag for the prosecution, but it's a loss for Elizabeth Holmes because she is going away to prison for at least a few years. This is according to David Ring, a lawyer who has been following the Holmes case closely. Even her going away to prison, she's going to go to a rich person prison. Federal prosecutors spent much of the trial providing testimony and evidence to depict Holmes as a charlatan obsessed with fame and fortune. In 7 days on the witness stand, Holmes cast herself as a visionary trailblazer in male-dominated Silicon Valley, who was emotionally and sexually abused by her former lover and business partner, Sunny Balwani. Holmes, who had bowed her head several times before the jury was polled by U.S. District Judge Edward Davila, remained seated and expressed no visible emotion as the verdicts were read. Her partner, Billy Evans, showed agitation in earlier moments but appeared calm during the verdict reading. After the judge left the courtroom to meet with jurors individually, Holmes got up to hug Evans and her parents before leaving with her lawyers. Prison time would separate Holmes from her newborn son, whose birth last summer forced a delay in the trial. Holmes' parenthood was not disclosed to the jury during the trial. Davila will determine Holmes' sentence. The trial provided a detailed look inside one of the go-to moves of Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, conveying a boundless optimism, regardless of whether it's warranted or not, known as fake it until you make it. I can throw several fucking businesses at you that are not profitable, but for some reason are dominating Silicon Valley. Over. They don't make money, but for some reason are valued at billions of dollars. Uber! Speaking of rich people and consequences, let's check in with the Trump family. Trump, Ivanka, and Don Jr. have been subpoenaed in the New York Attorney General's probe. New York Attorney General's office confirmed on Monday that it has subpoenaed former President Donald Trump and his 2 eldest children, Ivanka and Donald. Of course, Eric is a fucking idiot and has no idea about anything. Yes, Trump will be speaking on the 5th, and apparently, the chat has asked for it. We're going to carry it here on the Troll Patrol, I guess. So the New York Attorney General's office is demanding their testimony in an investigation into the family's business practices. Attorney General Letitia James's office said in a court filing that it recently issued subpoenas seeking testimony and documents from Trump's as part of a years-long civil probe involving matters including the valuation of properties owned or controlled by Trump and his company. Monday's filing, made public as James went to court in a bid to enforce the subpoena, was the first time that investigators publicly disclosed that they are also seeking information from Ivanka and Donald Trump Jr., both trusted allies of their father, who've been executives in his family's Trump organization. Last month, it was reported that James's office had requested that Trump sit for a deposition, apparently stonewalling them on that. Lawyers for the Trumps filed court papers Monday evening seeking to block the subpoenas, calling them an unprecedented and unconstitutional maneuver. No. Accusing James of attempting to obtain testimony that could be used against the Trumps in a parallel criminal investigation being overseen by the Manhattan District Attorney. That's how that works. Eric has a PhD in paternal rejection. Yeah, what the fuck is Trump going to say on January the 6th? That's a great question. Of course, we know that people like Matt Gaetz want to make sure that Trump starts next year as the Speaker of the fucking House. That's possible that he will announce his run for 2024, but also if he is listening to any Republicans, he will not announce that run until right after the 2022 midterms. And he did seem in the elections this past year to agree to take a hands-off approach. Hey, I'm not saying that it wouldn't be interesting to have Trump as the Speaker of the House, it would be bad for our fucking country. I don't think he gives a shit, but also, if there are strategists telling him it would be better for his campaign to wait until after the 2022 elections. But, I mean, it's fucking Trump. Who goddamn knows what he's gonna do? I guess that's why it's up to us to fucking watch him on January the 6th and find out what he's gonna say. God, I hope it's not in the morning and I have to wake up to fucking do this shit. You guys are gonna make me wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning for a fucking Trump speech, aren't you? McCain is dead. Oh, maybe you're talking about Meghan McCain. Oh, it's at 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Well, in that case, we might just stay on then. Just stay on all the way through the evening and into the Troll Patrol. 5 p.m. Eastern. Talk about the Chicago Teachers Union. Apparently they are getting ready to stage a walkout for Wednesday over COVID-19 safety concerns, and I do not blame them one bit. Apparently the report from a lot of schools, teachers are calling out. A lot of students aren't even showing up for school. Chicago Teachers Union is setting the stage for all teachers and other members to refuse to work in person beginning on Wednesday in conditions they deem unsafe. The union has scheduled a vote for its more than 25,000 members on Tuesday during the day, asking if they support refusing to work in person starting on Wednesday, but to work virtually instead. Tuesday's vote will be followed by a vote that afternoon by the union's elected House of Delegates on the refusal action. A CTU virtual town hall on Sunday evening, 80% of the 8,000 members on the call said they did not want to work in person in Chicago public schools. I totally understand. According to CTU members at the event, CPS classes resumed on Monday after a 2-week break amid the largest COVID-19 surge yet. CPS teachers can only work remotely if it's sanctioned by the Chicago Board of Education. In an email to families on Sunday evening, CPS CEO Pedro Martinez said he stands firmly behind the decision to protect our students' physical and mental health and promote their academic progress by keeping CPS schools safely open for in-person learning. We did the story last night. Child hospitalizations are at their highest level. Action is triggering a showdown between the union and the school district, which could lock teachers out of their remote classrooms and prevent them from teaching. This would effectively shut down the entire school district. Mayor Lori Lightfoot on Monday made clear where she stands. She said, "What we have learned from this pandemic is that schools are the safest place for students to be. We spent over $100 million to put mitigations in place. Most CPS staff members are vaccinated, and we generally see little transmission in school settings. Keeping kids safely in school where they can learn and thrive is what we should all be focused on." How will they learn to pledge allegiance to a fucking country? This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. One of my favorite skits from The Whitest Kids You Know. Rest in peace, Trevor. Miss you, buddy. In Germany, what seems like a bad idea to me, they are employing sheep and goats to encourage vaccination. Once again, I just read the headline. Let's actually find out what the fuck is going on. We have a picture of sheep and goats, I guess, in the shape of a needle. They put goats in the vaccines. Tasty bits of bread did the trick for about 700 sheep and goats to join Germany's drive to encourage more people to get vaccinated against COVID-19. The animals were arranged on Monday into the shape of a roughly 100 meter, that's 330 feet for you American assholes out there, for a 330-foot syringe in a field in Scharneverdingen. Scharneverdingen, which is south of Hamburg. Shepard Webke Schmidt Koken spent several days practicing with her animals, news agency DPA reported. But she said in the end it wasn't difficult to work things out. She laid out pieces of bread in the shape of the syringe, which the sheep and the goats gobbled up when they were let out into the field. I don't know why this would be effective. Apparently, the organizer said the action was aimed at people who are still hesitating to get vaccinated. Sheep are such likable animals, maybe they can get the message over better. Meanwhile, here in the U.S., people will call you a sheep if you got the vaccination. Fucking Lord. Apparently, they found Ron DeSantis. He had taken a lot of criticism over the last couple of weeks for not appearing in public while Florida was seeing a surge in COVID-19 cases. It just put the vax in the chemtrails. That'll do it. Chemtrails. That was a simpler time when that was the conspiracy theories we were dealing with. This is Ron DeSantis, apparently, earlier today, his first public appearance since before Christmas.
If I had $1 for every lockdown politician who decided to escape to Florida over the last 2 years, I'd be a pretty doggone wealthy man, let me tell you. I mean...
You are a pretty doggone wealthy man, sir.
Congress people, mayors, governors, I mean, you name it. And it's interesting, though, the reception that, that some of these folks will get in Florida, because I think a lot of Floridians say, wait a minute, you're bashing us because we're not doing your draconian policies, and yet we're the first place you want to flee.
Maybe he's not that wealthy. He's still early in his political career. He's not even a millionaire. My apologies.
to basically to be able to enjoy life. And so I'm not surprised to see that continue to happen.
So he's taking aim at AOC. Let's see exactly what happened. I didn't want to do this story, but it's all the fucking right wing is talking about. And I seriously don't want anybody to ever accuse me of being biased and not dealing head on with right wing bullshit. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has been ripped the creepy weirdo Trump advisor for fixating on boyfriend's feet. This was the tweet by Steve Cortez. It's, if leftists like AOC actually thought mandates and masking worked, they wouldn't be frolicking in free Florida. Now, he was there for some kind of an event. I can't remember exactly what it was. Maybe the HuffPost piece will tell us. And then he talked about her guy is showing his gross, pale male feet in public. Not at a pool or a beach with hideous sandals, which is weird. I wear sandals all the fucking time. It's what I prefer to. But the reason why is because I am prone to getting athlete's foot really easily. So I found the switch to sandals, which lets my feet air out. Yes, I'm a hippie. I'm a fucking hippie. I'm sorry. I found the switch to sandals actually helps me not get athlete's foot. AOC responded, if Republicans are mad they can't date me, they can just say that instead of projecting their sexual frustrations onto my boyfriend's feet, you creepy weirdos. Steve Cortez, who left his job just weeks ago as a commentator on right-wing Newsmax, blamed Ocasio-Cortez's boyfriend Riley Roberts in a tweet for daring to travel for a holiday break to Florida. But like she was there for some political event, if I'm not mistaken. Starting to get old, ignoring the very obvious, strange, and deranged sexual frustrations that underpin the Republican fixation on me, women, and LGBT plus people in general. Representative Ocasio-Cortez wrote. The lawmaker also noted that she would be happy to say hello to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis if she could find him. Well, he showed back up today. He's been on vacation, according to his aides, since Omicron COVID cases have skyrocketed to record levels. Now, the reason why he's been getting shit is because Florida spent the last couple of months talking about like, oh, we got the lowest rates in the country after having the highest rates in the country for months. And they jumped back up during the Omicron surge. Cortez did not immediately respond to a request from HuffPost to comment on AOC's takedown. Twitter followers got in on the hijinks. One quipped with a question, a Republican attacking a guy for being pale? Imagine a fully vaccinated congresswoman and fully vaccinated boyfriend enjoying drinks outdoors without a mask on a vacation to Florida. He gets more done for the American people than any GOP member of Congress. Where's Ron? I can't remember what the reason was, but I'm pretty sure it was like some kind of fundraising thing for like a congressional candidate was the reason why she was down in Florida. She also appeared at some drag event. 2 Feet. I'll check out 2 Feet. I've never heard of 2 Feet. Chucky Schumer apparently is saying that he is going to eye a change to the filibuster in order to advance voting rights, so good on you. I'm sorry, let me address him by his proper name, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. The U.S. Senate will vote this month on whether to change its rules to make it easier to pass a bill protecting voting rights. According to top Democrat Charles Schumer, this is days before the anniversary of the deadly January 6th attack on the Capitol building. Schumer said the narrowly Democratic-controlled chamber needed to consider a change to its filibuster rule after a wave of Republican-led states last year passed new restrictions on voting, inspired by Republican former President Donald Trump's false claims that his 2020 election defeat was the result of widespread fraud. Much like the violent insurrectionists who stormed the U.S. Capitol nearly 1 year ago, Republican officials in states across the country have seized on the former president's big lie about widespread voter fraud to enact anti-democratic legislation. This is according to Schumer in a letter to Democratic senators on Monday. We can and must take strong action to stop this anti-democratic march. Well, it's about time you grow some balls about it. Democrats tried to bring the voting rights bill to a floor vote 4 times last year and were repeatedly blocked by Republicans, who made use of the filibuster rule that requires 60 of the 100 senators to agree to advance most legislation. That's just to begin debate. It's called cloture. You have to have 60 votes. Cloture. The chamber is divided 50-50 between the two parties, with Democrats holding the majority by virtue of Vice President Kamala Harris's tie-breaking vote. Schumer said the chamber would vote for a rules change by January the 17th, the federal holiday honoring civil rights leader, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Who my good friend Jake constantly misrepresents in order to attack people. Now, as of today, we are down 1 Republican congressman. His name is Devin Nunes, no longer a member of Congress. He is now left in order to head Trump's social media company. Representative Devin Nunes officially resigned from Congress on Monday, weeks after he announced his intention to leave in order to head up former President Trump's new social media company. Let's hear from him.
The Honorable, the Speaker, House of Representatives. Madam, I write to inform you that I have notified California Governor Gavin Newsom of my resignation from
Nunes didn't even fucking read it. He didn't show up for his last day at work.
9 p.m. It has been the honor of my life to represent the people of California's San Joaquin Valley for the last 19 years. Please let me know how I can be of help during this transition.
Please let me know how I can be of help during this transition. God damn. During a pro forma House session, Nunes' resignation letter to the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was read aloud from the chamber floor by a clerk. Nunes' departure leaves the House with 433 members, 221 Democrats, and 212 Republicans. Early last month, Trump Media and Technology Group, which is worth an insane amount of money right now, announced that Nunes would take up the role of CEO. The time has come to reopen the internet and allow for the free flow of ideas and expression without censorship, Nunes said at the time. The United States of America has made the dream of the internet a reality, and it will be an American company that restores the dream. I'm humbled and honored. President Trump has asked me to lead the mission and the world-class team that will deliver on this promise. Since we're on the topic about social media and censorship, let's go ahead. I'm going to jump ahead to this story about mass formation psychosis. This is from The Hill this morning. This is Kim Iverson, who always has a hot take. Mass formation psychosis. That is what the right wing has been talking about for days now. Apparently, it's something Dr. Robert Malone said on the Joe Rogan podcast. I've been meaning to listen to that, actually. I'm interested to know the bullshit that Malone was spewing on Joe Rogan's podcast. So, this is Kim Iverson, who, is she a conservative? Is she like a shit lib? We don't even fucking know. She has some weird fucking takes. But here's her talking about mass formation psychosis.
Kim, what's on your radar? Well, the term mass formation psychosis trended over the weekend with so many searches it broke the internet. When people went to search for the term on Google, a couple of strange things happened. Some people saw this odd disclaimer from Google saying the results were changing quickly and that it would take time for results to be added by reliable sources. What does this even mean? I thought when you Google something, it would bring up sites relating to the topic. Why would Google need time to add results by quote-unquote reliable sources? Sounds like they're censoring search results. Well, a few hours later, when people searched for the term, a bunch of sites began to pop up claiming it was a new far-right buzzword or one attributed to anti-vaxxers. Well, it's very difficult to find any information using Google, so I had to turn to DuckDuckGo in order to find any relevant information. So what is mass formation psychosis? Well, the term came recently from the Joe Rogan Dr. Robert Malone interview that aired this past Friday, but was also heard and explained in...
That is correct. Google cares about fucking money and their advertising revenue.
more detail during Dr. Peter McCullough's...
I am not high enough for this shit.
We're in what's called a mass formation psychosis.
Okay, so maybe Malone didn't say it. I was wrong about that.
I give credit to Dr. Matthias Desmet in the University of Ghent in Belgium. And recently, Dr. Mark McDonald, psychiatrist from LA, Mark McDonald's got a new book out, The United States of Fear, describing how the mass psychosis developed. What your listeners need to know is a mass psychosis is when there is a groupthink that develops that's so strong that it leads to something horrific. And the examples are these mass suicides that occur in these...
The examples are goddamn capitalism. The examples are the fucking commercials on TV.
Religious cults. The example is Nazi Germany, when people walk into gas chambers and were gassed. These horrific things. And four elements here is very important, Joe. First, there must be a period of prolonged isolation, lockdowns. Number two, there must be a withdrawal of things taken away from people that they used to enjoy. That's happened. Number three.
Also, fucking, what lockdowns? What lockdowns? What lockdowns? What lockdowns? When have we been in lockdown? This isn't March of 2020 anymore. By May of 2020, there was no real lockdowns. There were bans on mass gathering of events, but like, there were no fucking lockdowns. What are you talking about?
Three, there must be constant, incessant, free-floating anxiety. All this news cycle, all the deaths and the hospitals.
Yes, capitalism. Fucking, that is all. Fucking Joe Rogan is guilty of exactly that. Fear-mongering for profit.
More variant mutant strains, everything, people becoming scared over and over again. And the last thing, number four, the capper. The capper is there must be a single solution offered by an entity in authority. And in this case is clear. Worldwide, the solution was vaccination. Everybody must take the vaccination. It's not a U.S. program. It's not a European program. It's every...
Tony 2012. That was a much simpler time. Jacking it in San Diego. What in the fuck is this idiot talking about?
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes, I do.
Everywhere. And you know what, Joe? Doesn't matter what vaccine it is. It could be China-Vac, Coronavac. It could be Novavax. It could be Pfizer, Moderna, J&J. It's interesting that it doesn't even matter what vaccine it is. It's just take a vaccine, take any vaccine. And so what mass psychosis says is number four.
No, don't take any vaccine. Take a vaccine that was developed to treat coronavirus, the pandemic we're in. This guy is a fucking idiot. Please do not get me taken down off of YouTube because he's fucking dumb.
For the solution, there's no limit to the absurdity of the solution.
So Dr. McCullough attributes the idea to Dr. Matthias Desmet, a professor of clinical psychology at Ghent University in Belgium, one of the top universities in the world. The four conditions that lead up to...
And she's giving this asshole credibility.
People who are radically intolerant and people who are irrational in their solutions. So in regards to this pandemic, we're seeing this intolerance of the unvaccinated, where many people who consider themselves very open-minded or even quote unquote woke are saying things they believe, are saying that they believe the unvaccinated should be removed from society in some way. So the most common way to remove the unvaccinated so far,
not removed from society. I don't want to be around them because they're contagious. They're spreading a contagious illness. God damn, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Why are you so fucking stupid? Fuck! I'm just stunned. I did not expect to be like this flabbergasted by this piece.
Has been through requiring vaccine passports to enter restaurants, bars, movie theaters, malls, and other venues, requiring vaccine passports to work or even travel.
And what vaccine passports?
To not only encourage people to get vaccinated.
There are private entities requiring vaccine as well. They should.
To the unvaccinated. So there are a lot of people in society right now who I would consider to be radically intolerant of unvaccinated people and will go to great lengths to stay away from them. And many people, like myself, believe their solutions are irrational. The virus seems to be spreading through vaccinated and unvaccinated populations alike, so segregating based on vaccination.
But it's not killing the vaccinated. And the vaccinated also have a much less, have a much smaller window in which they can shed virus. Ma'am, you are completely distorting the facts and you are lying to your viewers.
Status doesn't make any sense to me. But let's talk about the 4 conditions that lead up to this point and other examples throughout history. The first condition is some sort of social isolation. So the social isolation can be a group that is isolated from society, like cults living out in the middle of nowhere, groups that are isolated from each other through segregation or apartheid, or groups within a society.
And isn't that what's happening with the right wing? They are isolating themselves from us. You want to talk about mass formation psychosis? Look no further than Trump supporters. What you are describing is exactly what has been happening with the Trump supporters over the last 4 or 5 years, ma'am.
That don't intermingle, like cultural, ethnic, or religiously different groups. So the first condition is some sort of social isolation from others. Now, lockdowns and not having any social interaction with one another could also count in this category. The second condition is some sort of despair, loss of enjoyment, perceived negative change in lifestyle. Obviously, this entire pandemic has created a massive loss of enjoyment and severely shifted.
It's created a mass loss of life, bitch.
They think this earth life is undesirable and blame infidels or sinners or even just the human condition. In the example of segregated societies or societies that persecute different people, be they a different race, ethnicity, religion, or in the case of this pandemic, medically different, people feel a loss of something in their lives and blame these others for that loss. But basically, the second condition is life isn't so great and these others are to blame. The third condition is being in a constant state of fear, anxiety, or anger. And I think this one speaks for itself. When a person is in a constant...
Life isn't so great and others are to blame. Like the fucking wokeness or the fucking social justice warriors. Yada, yada, yada. You're describing the right wing in this country.
State of fear, anxiety.
Constant state of fear and anxiety.
That fear and anxiety.
And that's exactly what every single right-wing commentator pushes.
Come along and say they have the solution to the fear and anxiety and can make things better. They offer a solution and the people become fixated and follow through with that solution, be it mass suicide, apartheid, genocide.
Be it storming the Capitol on January 6th.
Forced religious conversions. These are the most extreme, but they're probably smaller, less obvious examples. I would say mass incarcerations of black men in America is probably another example of this. Blacks and whites stayed largely segregated within society. There was a perceived erosion of safety in the community. Fear, anxiety, and anger resulted. And the leadership, Clinton and Biden, in this case, came along with the solution of locking people up. Now, Trump's wall.
Clinton and Biden, Not that they didn't fucking play a role. Mass incarceration started in the 80s under Reagan, when he flooded the streets with crack. What are you talking about? Yeah, Biden went along with it, but that has to do more with the third way Democrats and how they were trying to be Republicans. Ma'am, you are full of shit. You might be the absolute worst political commentator on the planet.
Wall is another possible example. Americans are isolated from people south of our border. There's been some despair and a feeling of loss of the good life. Fear, anxiety, and anger resulted, and the solution was to build a wall, and people became fixated on this solution. So the question is, do we think we're living in a mass formation psychosis under Fauci's leadership, where the solution is vaccination?
No!
Only vaccination will save us from this pandemic. Are people following?
Viruses work by let me rephrase it. The way you stop the spread of a pandemic, this is how it works, is by reaching herd immunity. Now, you can do that either by everybody getting fucking infected and a bunch of people dying, or you can vaccinate. That's how this fucking works. That's how you stop a pandemic, ma'am. This has nothing to do with proposing some magical fucking solution that's part of a mass formation. None of this makes any fucking sense. What? Fuck. I'm stunned. The stupidity of this woman, and they let her speak this shit to, I mean, the Hill is not as big as what it used to be, clearly. But I mean, a couple 100,000 people a day? How many views did this have? 145,000 views. So give or take a couple 100,000 people a day. I'm stunned.
Nonsensical guidance blindly. Well, I want to play this clip for you of Fauci on CNN's State of the Union. Tell me if this guidance makes sense.
Can you see the dislikes anymore?
Vaccinated and boosted people.
I thought YouTube changed that.
They go into a restaurant, eat safely indoors right now?
You know, when you're having such I call it a tsunami of infections, Dana, we are seeing people who are vaccinated and boosted who are getting breakthrough infections. So when you're in a situation...
That's all?
The thing that you want to say is that if you want to do things like that, better do them in a setting where you...
The Hill's audience is incredibly right-wing. Not as bad as Breaking Points. Breaking Points took the most hardcore right-wing people with them. Being in the comments of Breaking Points just breaks my brain.
You know the people around you are vaccinated and boosted.
So Fauci says fully vaccinated people are getting the virus, so only be around fully vaccinated people. Rather than push back on this nonsense, Dana Bash just goes along with it. Doesn't this seem like an example of what could be considered mass formation psychosis?
No!
I'll ask you guys. I mean, a lot of this stuff...
I hope Ryan Grimm puts her in her place.
We're still following Fauci's guidance. I'm kind of wondering...
Please, Ryan, bring some sanity to this.
About a third of the population is maybe, just maybe, under this mass formation psychosis. What do you think?
No.
I agree.
Well, of course, dumbfuck Robbie Suave over there agrees.
His recommendations. I don't think the unvaccinated should be stigmatized. I don't think there should be mandates, lockdowns, all of that we agree on. But this does not sound rigorously defined enough, this mass formation psychosis. It sounds like
Trump supporters.
Many of my fellow Americans.
It sounds like the people who are denying the vaccine and fucking dying. And dying, that's mass formation psychosis. Dying because you refuse to get a safe vaccine.
The people we're taking orders from, are wrong, but I don't know that it's a Do you know? It's not it's not a malady. They're just wrong. I don't think it is an epidemic. It's just, except in some kind of metaphoric sense.
But if the leader, the leader might be wrong, but if people are blindly following the leader without questioning, wouldn't that be the psychosis?
Well, it's so wild that, look, to calling people that you disagree with in the country crazy, I think it's just very comforting to people because it allows you to then not have to grapple with their, with the arguments that they're making. And, a lot of kind of liberals watched what this guy said about the mass formation psychosis, and we're like, yeah, all of that definitely applies to these anti-vaxxers. But that also gets them off the hook from dealing with the arguments. I think what you need to do.
He doesn't know where to start.
Rationally at each situation, and if there are no reasonable, simple explanations for things, then you can start going for hocus like mass formation psychoses. But all of these things are much more easily explained. I mean, people, for some reason, are having a very difficult time with the idea that the virus mutates, and that they want to be told in March 2020 precisely.
I want to make a statement here, and I was thinking about this earlier today. I've been pretty spot on with my assessments of this pandemic from the beginning. This show, I started doing the test runs of this show 2 years before the pandemic started, but the actual start date of this show was 4/20/2020. This show has existed almost exclusively during the pandemic. You can go back and watch my takes on how the pandemic was going to play out, and I called it. I called like the number of deaths, and when we would reach like 3,000 deaths a day, I called it. I've pretty much been right the entire pandemic. That has nothing to do with me. I want to stress that. It has nothing to do with me. All I did was listen to people who were knowledgeable. That's all I did. Look at the data. Look at what people say that, know what they're fucking talking about. Epidemiologists and virologists. It wasn't hard to be right throughout the pandemic. You know who I didn't listen to? People like fucking Ted Cruz or Rand Paul, who said that the fucking virus was going to magically disappear. People like Joe Rogan and shit. They're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. And why do they keep getting to be wrong over and over and over again, and people still listen to them?
How to respond to this pandemic and precisely how it's going to unfold. And if anything new comes up, then it's like, aha, we told you they were lying. Now, as we've discussed multiple times.
Because we were talking about variants on this show long before the Delta variant.
And so they have lost credibility. But at the same time, this is shifting in real time. This is a novel coronavirus. But there are other explanations. So these people may or may not have medical expertise. We'll leave that for somebody else to decide. What do they know about, like, fascism in the 1920s and 1930s? I mean, come on. There has been this effort to say that, well, in Germany during the Nazi period, the people just went insane. And that, too, is a way to not address what actually happened.
It's actually a way of denying responsibility. No, they didn't go insane. Right. They let this happen.
It is a way of denying responsibility. And the way that Rogan teed it up was interesting. It's like, these are super educated, smart people. And they just snapped. How did this happen? That's not how he teed it up. That's how Malone teed it up. It's like, no. There's a lot more happened. There was a World War.
Right. There was resentfulness about the debts, the being forced to pay for World War I, and the industrial.
He was a madman. Columbus was indeed a madman.
You can write books. You can read thousands of pages on the what goes into the rise of Nazi Germany, and it's not just people went insane.
John Maynard Keynes, right out of the Treaty of Versailles, was like, you are creating the conditions that are going to give rise to fascism and to a Second World War. Like he predicted everything. Right. That's how rational it was in the way that it unfolded, that you could see it coming.
Yep.
So then to say that they went crazy, rather than to say that fascist leaders exploited all of these conditions that were created by the vindictiveness of
which is exactly what's going on in this country right now.
Is giving everybody a pass. And the same with mass incarceration in the 1980s. Easy explanation. There was a rise in crime, which came from the hollowing out of the manufacturing base of the United States. There was also a white backlash to civil rights from the 60s.
Fucking lead.
And the political response from a lot of white politicians was, we're going to do mass incarceration. You don't need to say that people are crazy, because that lets people like Biden and Clinton off the hook. There wasn't a mass psychosis there. It was,
but I mean, I guess you're just kind of trading, right? So it's either there's mass psychosis or there's like mass stupidity or even maybe mass, evil, I guess. Like people that are
mass humanity is what I'd say.
Thank you, Ryan.
Humanity can be manipulated, and depending on what the conditions are that have been created, they can be manipulated in different ways.
Well, I think this is just a way of saying people are being gaslit. So, if you believe in the ability to gaslight, then there would be this ability to gaslight a mass group of people. But I agree with you that I don't like that it takes the responsibility away from people.
Well, we're trying to gaslight people into not dying from preventable illness?
You are kind of
what the fuck?
Maybe their own personal choice in this, or their own personal responsibility in whatever it is that they're doing. So, I mean, I totally agree with that. But I do still feel like
it already has pretty much lost all meaning.
At the atrocities that have happened throughout history, it's hard to imagine that people are just, that there's mass inhumanity, where people are just cruel and evil. I would rather believe that very good, smart people just
No.
I would.
People are encouraged by a system, it's called capitalism, to be cruel and evil.
Prefer to believe that, I suppose.
And I guess one last point would be that, it's true that these leaders find these single solutions that they try to push everybody's anger onto. And in the case of Nazi Germany, we know what that was, and we know the evil that resulted from that. But that's completely different with the vaccine, because, yes, the vaccine doesn't stop the spread, but even today, if you're boosted, you're 20 times less likely to get infected, which means it does slow the spread. You are massively less likely, if you're vaccinated, to...
And the window in which you shed the virus and spread it to others is much smaller. Thank you, Ryan, for actually pointing out the facts that Kim Iverson completely ignored.
Be hospitalized, even with Omicron or with Delta, and you're massively less likely to die. And so when people have intolerance of on this question, it's not some type of kind of irrational, race-based intolerance. It's not racist.
They're both giving him the side eye.
There's something going on. If you're unvaccinated, you're more likely to get infected, more likely to go to the hospital, and more likely...
Ooh, it's some kind of ism. Oh my God, both of them giving Grind Grimm the side eye. The only smart person on this fucking show.
To die. Now, you're not safe if you're vaccinated, but you're safer. And that is a real distinction.
Yeah.
Ah, Kim, that fucking face she made. Ah, that's great. Oh my God. She got smacked down live on air. The fucking outro music plays. She's like, oh, I look stupid. Of course she's vaxxed. Oh, this is fantastic. Oh, man. Let me drink this in. Take that, Kim. I wish you people could feel embarrassment. I really do. Because you just got embarrassed on live TV, ma'am. Live internet, whatever the fuck you call this. Oh, shit. Look disappointed in yourself. Oh, God damn. Nancy Pelosi is expected to step down next year. Democrats prepare for civil war between factions, with Rep. Hakeem Jeffries the favorite to become the new leader. Interviews with more than 24 Democrats revealed many respect Pelosi's leadership but are looking for younger faces. I want her out of Congress entirely. I want her defeated in 2022. Probably not going to happen. Progressive Chair Representative Pramila Jayapal said she wanted a more decentralized leadership. Justin can only get so erect. That did give me a hard on. The end of that absolutely made me gave me a little chubby. Representative Brad Schneider of Illinois, a moderate, said he wanted to see a leader who could pull the party together like Pelosi. Post reported that members overwhelmingly agreed that Pelosi's successor should be equally as historic as her claim to the first female speakership. Jeffries would be the first black speaker if Democrats hold on to the House, and he is nominated to lead. While Jeffries of New York, the chair of the House Democratic Caucus, is the favorite, the debate over who will succeed Pelosi could lay to bear the deep divide between progressives and moderates. Future leaders of the party could differ in their ideas for how to counter the GOP as they brace for the possibility of serious losses in the midterm elections. Now, there is some indication that gerrymandering has not gone the way that Republicans wanted it to, and that Democrats are now looking a little more favorable in the fall. It's a shame that it's not based on, like, the will of the people, because almost certainly in 2022, more people will go out and vote for Democrats than they will Republicans. It's just going to be based on the districts, whether the fucking Democrats are able to keep control, and I think that's wrong. And I think all you right-wingers out there that might be listening to me, it should concern you. You should want your government to represent the people. Otherwise, it's going to cause strife, and it's going to cause all of the issues that we see currently, where the government just does not respond to what the people want. Yeah, just vote out the gerrymanderists. Oh, fuck. Representative Jayapal said, I think there was a holding of power model that worked very well for a long time. And I think now it is more about recognition of different centers of focus within the Democratic caucus that have to be brought in and brought together. It takes some acceptance of more decentralized leadership. I'm into that. Possibly. We might have to organize ourselves and move to different districts. Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting in a red district. And I tried my best to flip it blue, 2 years ago? No, he ran unopposed 2 years ago, or a year ago. Tried to flip it in 2018. I tried so fucking hard. I thought we had a good candidate. And I've also said when I move, if I move, it's going to be to some place like Arizona or Texas, where I'm going to have an impact. Maybe even Nevada. Running unopposed is the worst fucking thing, yes, and that's... I had said if he was going to run unopposed this time, I was going to run against him. Because why the fuck not? He needs somebody to run against him. He's not running for Congress anymore. He's running for Senate. And if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, my representative is Mo Brooks. Gave a speech on January 6th. He is one of the co-conspirators in the insurrection. He's running for Senate. Oh. Mass formation psychosis is what I would call the bullshit that the right is constantly saying about the left. Remember, this is my buddy, Jake Jacobs. He had invited me on the show, but apparently I'm not going to be able to come on now because he friended me on Facebook, and I trolled him a little too much. So we're going to watch a clip from the Jake Jacobs show, or as I like to call it, Where's it at? The Fake Outrage Show. with this fucking clown here. So this is about how, the historical lies of the left in our schools. The historical lies of the left in our schools. You see, he has this book called Mob Rule, which is interesting to me because this motherfucker supported Trump, who literally tried to end democracy with a mob.
Orwell's classic book, 1984.
Oh, shit. Oh, George Orwell. You're reading from an Antifa. You hate Antifa, Jake.
Says this, quote, who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. The past is whatever the records and the memories agree upon. And since the party is in full control of all records and in equally full control of the minds of its members, it follows that the past is whatever the party chooses to make it, end quote. In my chapter 6 of Mob Rule, 1619 Project versus the July 4th, 1776, I talk about how it is that through the Democratic Party today and through Democratic-oriented academia and through Democratic-oriented elite media.
What the fuck are you talking about? Democratic-oriented elite media? Once again, I've been in media for 20 years. Every boss I ever had was a Republican. Every company I ever worked for was right-wing.
They are controlling and distorting our history in such a way that they are lying to our children about what America is all about. The focus on the bad and the ugly, the ignoring of the good and the glorious of the United States of America.
The focus, he is literally saying, well, I don't want you to know about the bad that the U.S. did. While saying that we are the ones lying to people. No, I don't want you to focus on the bad things. Don't want to examine the bad things.
You know, it's interesting. The other night I was watching the movie Casablanca with my wife and my beautiful daughter, Anastasia. She's an old movie buff, and so she says, Dad, let's watch Casablanca.
I'm sure you really enjoy that movie. Takes you back to a time where
in the film we're talking about
you wish you could go back to
being Nazi tyranny and going to America to be free. Now that film was done back in 1942.
Hitler modeled Nazi Germany after the American South. How do I know this? He said it. He said it.
And then it just made me think as I'm watching the film about how they talked about America being free and America being the land of opportunity and America being the place that many Europeans wanted to escape to so they could be free from the tyranny of National Socialism. And then I thought about the millions and millions and millions of Americans from across the world, Africa, Latin America, Asia, that wanted to leave the oppression of their country and come to the United States of America to be free, to have economic and social mobility like never before. And then I juxtapose that reality, that historical truth, with what's being taught to our children.
That historical reality you want to juxtapose. You're leaving out something.
Indivisible with liberty and justice.
This was a literal Nazi rally held at Madison Square Garden. This was the American right wing. Jake would probably have been at this rally had he been alive then. This is a Nazi rally. What Nazi salute? They are Nazi saluting. This is America. This happened at Madison Square Garden. The place is fucking packed. That's why Jake doesn't want you to know about the fucking actual history of this country.
children in our schools today, and it's incongruous. It doesn't.
And here's the wild thing. I didn't learn about A Night at the Garden in school. I should have. No. Instead, I learned something that was far more akin to the lost cause. The War of Northern Aggression. Shit like that. That's what I learned about in school. In the U.S. South.
Doesn't make any sense. It's nonsensical, illogical. I mean,
Don't use the word logic! All you ever do is make fallacious arguments. I pointed it out numerous times to you, Jake. Don't say something is illogical when you don't even know jack shit about logic.
Programs talking about the disaster on our borderless border.
Borderless border, you're lying. There is no borderless border.
5,000, and now it looks like it could be up to 30,000 Haitians. Many of them, by the way, were living in Chile, another Latin American country.
If only you believed in a book that told you how to treat foreigners in your land, sir. Fuck, that's why I call you a fake Christian.
He's right for many, many years, but still coming here, desiring to come here to be free.
Because it's our foreign policy that fucked up their countries.
We're told we're evil, we're systemically racist, we're this deplorable, horrible country, and yet the reality is millions of people are still coming.
That is a fallacious argument, Jake.
It's like you sit here and you go, I can't believe what's happening right now. Here's what they're teaching our kids. Here's this, they're shoving this in, they're indoctrinating our kids with these lies upon lies upon lies, and then you turn around.
You have not given one single instance of a lie, Jake. You have not given any supporting evidence for your argument. You just said, oh, they're teaching them about the bad and not the good. Your supporting evidence was literally like they focused too much on the bad. You didn't even give an example of them lying.
And the reality is, people love this country. They're desiring to come here like never before. We're going to get to a point where, why would anybody want to come to this country? Where academia, the media, our schools are just full of lies and distortions.
Says the guy that's lying right now.
It was Karl Marx who used to say that the first battle for us to be successful is to rewrite history, is to pervert history. And this is what's really wrong with the 1619 Project.
What was wrong with the 1619 Project, Jake? I love this fucking video cutout. Is that the end of it? Now, like, I hadn't read the 1619 Project. Apparently, there were scholars that did take issue, but it was, like, really minor shit. Like, the way they worded that the revolution was fought predominantly to preserve slavery. And they went back and they made a correction. Now, if they were lying, would they make a correction, Jake? None of these people have any intelligence. Right-wingers are goddamn morons. The dumbest fucks walking the planet. Let's hear from another dumb fuck. This is Michael Knowles. The Daily Wire, I believe. Is that that's where he does his show? This is the gayest woke commercials yet. So this should be fun. We're going to hear about the gayest woke commercials yet.
Better at guessing what product these woke commercials are selling. Okay, I'm still not doing great because these companies are really just selling a radical ideology and the product is secondary. But last time we...
That's a weird thing for somebody that's a right-wing propagandist to say.
All right, 0 for 4. Never mind. You failed. So we've got 4 more woke commercials. My producers have pulled them. You've all sent them in. Let's see how I do.
What does woke even mean? Oh my God, we're representing people that
maybe
speak sign language.
Cell company, like a telecom company.
You know, deaf people exist in the world, right, Michael?
Yeah.
Why is it woke to feature deaf people in a commercial?
It's like a, service provider.
USB butt plugs.
Oh no. Oh no.
Everyone works hard for a reason. Working together, we can help.
Oh no, they're gay.
Becomes 3. Wells Fargo.
Wells fucking Fargo. Piss on Wells Fargo, and I have.
Wow, man, that took you on a journey because the woke thing at first is the sign language, right? And
why is that woke?
Ableism erases people with these disabilities, and so we're going to use sign language, and okay, but you know that that's just the ideology part. So you're like, okay, I don't know, maybe the product.
How is that ideology? Yeah, calling Wells Fargo woke.
Right, okay, that starts to make sense. And then at a left field, you get
and I mean, that's something I pointed out numerous times. It's not that fucking these companies are woke. It's that, they want to make money. It's called capitalism, Michael. So they want to appeal to as many people as possible. Capitalism! You are upset about capitalism! Jesus.
And you say, but actually, it's ableism and lesbians, and that's why you should choose our bank.
It's so dense. Every single image has so many things going on.
You're like, man, I can't keep up. That's too much at the end. You got to give me some clues on the way. I completely blew that one. What's up next?
Cooper,
cereal, you would
father.
You would imagine.
No. I am your.
Oh, we've got a gay couple again.
Where is the mother?
Gotta be the worst Vader ever.
Oh my God.
Like a breakfast company?
Real life.
It was a Campbell Soup commercial.
Man, I actually was like, I want partial credit because it looked like cereal. So I did, and there, obviously, the ideology they're selling is the two dads thing. But I did.
Yeah, they're just something designed to catch your attention to watch until the splash screen. You're exactly right, Toads.
Star Wars.
Thank you. You said that way better than I would.
But I guess it was soup. It's like Star Wars soup. Do I get partial credit? No, I don't. Okay. I'm going to appeal that after this video is done. Let's go on to number 3.
When were you first considered a family? When you fell in love?
No.
When you got married?
Yes.
When you had kids?
That would continue.
Oh, we got black people in the commercial. It's woke.
When you fell in love?
No.
When you got married?
Interracial couple, gay couple.
No, that was just a man and a woman. That wasn't two.
They adopted. This is just diverse families.
Tylenol.
Tylenol.
Tylenol. Well, they're really slick in here too, because they're like, "Hey, when did you become a family? When you fell in love?" It's like, no one. You and your middle school girlfriend are not a family, right? You're just.
Sparkles is my family.
Yes, obviously that's.
I'm not married to her.
What about when you had kids? Well, you're growing the family, but no, you become a family when you leave your father and mother and cling to one another and take a vow before God and get married.
No.
When did you have to?
I like your narrow definition of family.
It's going to be some gay thing, right? It's going to be, well, because marriage, for all of human history, every single place on earth meant one thing, and it had to do with
That's very true.
And then 5 minutes ago.
Well, that's also a product of marketing, like the way we refer to
injustice. But then there's
fucking snot rags as Kleenex.
The gay thing, but then
that's a brand name.
Push the interracial marriage.
Yeah, I called it a snot rag.
Human history everywhere. Different peoples have intermarried, and sometimes there are restrictions on that, and for a period in American history there were some restrictions on that. But throughout the history of marriage, peoples have intermarried. Okay, it's in the Bible, it's in lots of other texts and lots of other histories. They're doing that to suggest that racial difference is the.
I would like to point out that for most of human history, marriage was a contract. It had to do with property rights and owning a woman. You used to you fucking pay the fucking father for the right to marry their daughter. Just pointing that out.
Same thing as sexual difference.
Gays are the new blacks.
But it's obviously not. Sexual difference is far more fundamental to human nature. Tylenol.
Pills here.
Tylenol. Where did that come from? Tylenol. Okay. Do I get one more?
Bitching about capitalism again.
Thank you. You're gonna give me the bonus. All right. So here's the last one, and then maybe I can redeem myself.
Don't worry, they're gonna love you.
Oh my God, you mean it?
The conservative wiggle.
I thought y'all got lost or something. Daughter, did you put some hair in the
We're just featuring black people, so this is a woke commercial.
Welcome to the family. Thank you. Wow.
Maybe they black and gay. Super woke.
I wasn't even going to try to guess. How many gay guys do these companies think there are?
Billions?
Because, like, there's not... I guess in their mind, it's like we're all just going out trying to persecute the gay guys, you know, but it's like, first of all, most people just don't really care that much, and you just think like, well, men...
You fucking care, dude! You fucking care! I had the last TV station I worked at, as I said, the weathermen are always fucking far right for some reason. I was having an argument with the weatherman, and he talked about how like gay people were only like 4% of the population. So I said something about statistically insignificant. And he's like, "Well, gay people are statistically insignificant. They're only like 4% of the population." I'm like, dude, do you not realize that you work with at least fucking 4 gay people here? The fuck are you talking about? 4% of the population is enough that you have 4 gay coworkers, openly gay, by the way, that we know of. How do you not get this? How are you this fucking stupid?
With torches trying to persecute anybody. But so then to overcompensate for that, these people seem to think that like 90% of the population is gay. It's not. It's like a very small percentage of the population, and that has been true throughout history. And Etsy. Tylenol.
Donkey.
Get your Tylenol on Etsy for your... Okay, that's all.
That's not how Etsy works. That's not where you can buy Tylenol.
I'm still upset about the soup one, because I think I kind of deserve that. But
no!
To redeem...
Soup and cereal are 2 different fucking things.
Commercial discerning skill. Give me the bonus one.
You know, Pride is about
like
joy.
Nickelodeon.
Connection. But most importantly, this year and every year, Pride is about visibility.
It's Nickelodeon, I bet.
Hey, Brent!
Hey, lady.
Guess what? Today, with the help of the family of brands, we are going to transform you into your most fabulous self. Pride is the time of year where we get to celebrate who we are. Whatever you do, know that this Pride is for you.
What about like your birthday? Did you celebrate that on your birthday?
Know that you are worthy and you belong.
It's like, on Pride, you get to celebrate who you are, as long as it's like a very specific, weird sexual thing.
No, everyone is welcome at Pride. I promise you.
Procter & Gamble teams
they welcome my hippie dippy looking ass.
iHeartRadio.
Just as much as they welcome any drag queen.
It's like the wokest thing. I thought it was...
It's like the wokest thing.
Drag queen was on Nickelodeon. He was, yeah, okay.
Slaying crack on Etsy.
Do we even have to put this on YouTube? I am so embarrassed. I guess I'm just out of practice. Please send in your woke commercials, please, for my masochism. Maybe that's my sexual kink. I'm a masochist. That's the only way to explain why I still...
Why is watching commercials with a diverse set of people, why does that make you a masochist? Also, I hate that they're out of Nashville once again. I love that fucking city. I used to go to Nashville like at least once a month. I have walked across that bridge so many times. I've been up that elevator. For those of you who don't know, that is like the Tennessee Titans Stadium is right there next to that bridge over on the other side, and that's like a free parking. Because if you go downtown, it's hard to find parking where you don't pay fucking $10, $15 fucking dollars. But if you come over here to the stadium, you get the free parking either at the stadium or there's a municipal lot across the street. and you go up that elevator, and then that's a pedestrian bridge that you get to walk across. It is gorgeous. You walk across the river into downtown Nashville. I fucking love that city, and these assholes are bastardizing a city I fucking love. Fuck you, Michael Knowles. Would you go to Vandy? I can't wait to be out of the pandemic era so I can go back to going to Nashville all the time. I'd actually move to Nashville. I mean, it wouldn't, okay. Fucking nothing wrong with going to Nashville Auto Diesel. Vandy was just the only fucking college I knew that was in Nashville. I was trying to look smart. They kicked you out. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Let's talk about biases. I don't even know what this is. This is something Warlord sent me. Middle Ground is all about radical empathy. We've partnered with Ground News to help you understand your bias so you can better relate to others. How does your worldview influence your news diet? Or better yet, how might your news diet reinforce your worldview? Unless you make an ongoing effort to outsmart algorithms, you're probably in a filter bubble. Okay, so I'll go ahead and tell you straight up that I break the mold on this. I am not in a filter bubble. Facebook thinks I'm a goddamn Republican. I assure you, they show me nothing but right-wing bullshit, but that's how I get the content for this show. That's where I troll. I love going to right-wing sites and telling them how fucking stupid they are. But this is going to be hard. Like, which news sources are you most likely to read or watch? And, like, the answer is, like, all of these. Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, USA Today, Breitbart, Washington Examiner, The New Yorker, NPR, InfoWars. This is all shit that we cover here on this show. The Daily Caller, BuzzFeed News, HuffPost. I'm only going to pick ones that I'm sure that I've featured on this show before. The Daily Wire. I don't know what the Post Millennial is. Vox, Slate. Slate, I think we've had Slate on here. CBS, Gateway Pundit. I don't remember featuring them. OAN, Reuters. We had Reuters on earlier today. AP. I don't remember doing a National Review article, but I think we have covered them a couple times. The Hill, definitely. We're covering The Hill almost daily here. CNN, Newsmax, New York Post, Now This, Jacobin, The Blaze, Fox News, LA Times, and Vice. All of these have been featured on the show. Which of these U.S. and international news sources are you most likely to read or watch? Fucking once again, it's like goddamn all of them. ABC Australia, I've been watching a shit ton of them. I did like that Channel 4, I think. They've been doing all kinds of documentaries I've been really into. Deutsche Welle, I don't know about them. Times of India, we've done a story or two from them. Russia Today, definitely. AP, Vox, OAN. Haaretz, I've never even heard of them. Fox News, New York Times, BuzzFeed, Al Jazeera, definitely. Daily Wire, New York Post, The Telegraph, Sky News. South China Morning Post, I think we've had on here a couple times. I'm going to leave it unchecked. Breitbart, HuffPost, Washington Post, The Guardian, The Independent, for sure. BBC, TBC News, that's Canada, I do believe. I think we've covered that a few times. Sputnik, Wall Street Journal, CNN. I don't know what the Japan Times, I don't think I've ever read them before. Which headline best captures this story? So, Twitter announced a policy expansion of removing private media posted on the platform. The announcement stated, when we are notified by individuals depicted that they did not consent to having their private image or video shared, we will remove it. So we're picking which headline best captures the story. Our first option is Twitter bans posting pictures of private individuals against their wishes, in addition to earlier anti-harassment policies. Our second option is Twitter effectively bans all citizen journalism on new CEO first day. No photos, videos allowed without consent. The third option is Twitter bans posting images of people without their consent, exempts protest and sporting events. And the fourth option is Twitter tightens rules, bans sharing people's photos without consent. This is difficult. Okay, so I would have to ask what medium I'm doing it in. You want to be as concise as you can in a, like, this is journalism kicking in here. You want to be as concise as you can in a headline. So I would want to stray away from the first two because they're a little clunky for a headline. I'm going to say Twitter tightens rules, bans sharing people's photos without consent. That also doesn't capture the story very well. All right, so we're doing a DeSantis story here. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said that he has plans to sign legislation that would give unvaccinated police officers a $5,000 bonus to relocate to his state. The options for the headliner: Governor DeSantis announces $5,000 proposed bonus to abused police officers from liberal cities to move to Florida. GOP Governor Ron DeSantis offers unvaccinated cops $5,000 to come infect and serve Floridians. Governor Ron DeSantis offers bonuses to anti-vax cops to come work in Florida. DeSantis woos police whose jobs over vaccine mandates, dangles $5,000 bonus to move to Florida. Once again, I'm going to go with the more concise one. That was the third option. Governor Ron DeSantis offers bonuses to anti-vax cops to come work in Florida. I think that perfectly sums up the story. Got another one. Which headline best captures the story? Darren G. Maringer, 52, is facing 5 felony counts of indecent exposure in connection with the Wee Spa incident in June. Maringer is a Tier 1 registered sex offender. She denies the allegations and says that she is actually the victim of transphobic harassment. We did that story. I'd not read the follow-up. So the headlines are: trans woman charged with indecent exposure in LA spa incident. The second option is charges filed against sex offender in the Wee Spa case. The third one is person charged with indecent exposure at LA spa after viral Instagram video. And the fourth one is charges filed against trans sex offender for exposing himself in spa. I don't like the last one because it misgenders them. I think I would go with number 3, person charged with indecent exposure at LA spa after viral Instagram video. The reason why I would do that is because mentioning the viral Instagram video kind of gives people an idea of the incident. Another headline: President Biden's sprawling $6 trillion budget unveiled Friday does not include the controversial Hyde Amendment, delivering on a campaign promise to try to scrap the ban on federal funding for abortions. The options are: Biden omits Hyde Amendment from budget, keeping promise to defend abortion rights. The second one is Joe Biden stakes out position against discriminatory abortion rule. The third one is Biden's attempt to kill pro-life Hyde Amendment is morally ghastly. The fourth is Biden budget excludes decades-old provision barring taxpayer funding of abortion. I think I like the first and the fourth options the best. As once again, you're writing to people. They say to write to people with a 5th grade education, so you would probably not want to say Hyde Amendment, and you would want to say decades-old provision barring taxpayer funding of abortion. Once again, which headline best captures the story? Donald Trump says he would not have survived if James Comey kept FBI job. Trump fired Comey as FBI director in 2017 during the investigation into accusations of Russian collusion in the 2016 election. The options are: Trump admits to obstruction of justice in Fox News interview. The second option is: Trump, had I not fired Comey, you may not be talking to me right now. The fourth one is Trump draws attention with admission he fired Comey. And the fourth one was Trump just wanted to remind America that he committed obstruction of justice. I would go with Trump draws attention with admission he fired Comey. All right, so it's have you seen these stories about COVID? It is yes or no. More than likely, I'm going to have seen all of them. Tucker Carlson claims that COVID-19 does feminize people during an interview with Brexit politician Nigel Farage. Yes, I'd seen that one. Mom says her son got vaccinated for pizza without her consent. I had not seen that one. Ron Johnson recommends mouthwash to treat COVID. I had seen that one. Maine governor activates National Guard amid shortage of hospital beds. Yes, I've seen that one. Thousands of people protest in Brussels against new coronavirus restrictions. Yes, I've seen that one. FDA says it needs 75 years to release Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine data to the public. Yes, I've seen that as well. So once again, it's have you seen these stories about Black Lives Matter? Yeah, this quiz wasn't made for me, no. BLM leader backs Jesse Smollett. Labels hate crime hoax trial a white supremacist charade. Oh God, I follow a hell of a lot of right-wing media. You better believe I saw this story ad fucking nauseum. NYC Black Lives Matter threatens bloodshed riots in city if anti-crime units reinstated. Yep, I've seen that one. Police, teens driven by racial hatred, targeted BLM leader. I had not seen that one. I'm not aware of that story. Wrongfully convicted Massachusetts man freed after 27 years. I think I've seen that one, but good Lord, do you know how many people we exonerate in this country? Not as many as we should, because there's a hell of a lot of innocent people sitting in prison. But I do get confused on all the people that have been freed. 10 Antifa members charged for alleged attacks on California pro-Trump protesters called criminal acts. Yes, I saw that. It's just going to come up with a big Darth Vader at the end. I really do. I watch so much goddamn right-wing content. Now, I myself on YouTube, I tend to consume, I like Jose, I like Sean, I like fucking Thought Slime. I also like other content creators that don't even do anything with news or politics. I like Adam Ragusia that does fucking food videos. I like Company Man. Company Man like examines the history of companies and shit. Does really good fucking videos. I don't know why I'm into fucking watching his videos. I watched like the rise and fall of Pizza Hut today. I watch a lot of Review Bra. For some reason I like hearing what Review Bra has to say about food. Food I'm never gonna eat. I don't eat fucking fast food. I don't eat the shit he's eating on his reviews, but for some reason, I sit down with a plate of food, I'll pop up a Review Bra video. And now, since Sparkles pointed out to me that Review Bra and Lorde look alike, anytime I hear the Lorde song where she's like, I'm more like a prettier Jesus or whatever the lyric is, I'm like, no, apparently you're a prettier fucking Review Bra. I didn't get it when Sparkle said it, but then apparently there's whole Reddit threads devoted to it. Colorado officials agree to $15 million settlement with Elijah McClain's family over his death. Yes, I saw that. All right, this is stories about immigration. I believe this is the last screen. New York City set to give legal non-citizens a right to vote in local elections. Of course I've seen that. The right wing has gone nuts over that one. Biden advisor admits immigration policy may have driven migrant surge, encouraged smugglers. Yep, I've seen that one. Pope decries stone hearts of indifference to migrants' pain. I've not seen that one, I don't believe. UNICEF warns of malnutrition and disease risk for migrant children in Mexican camp. I haven't seen that one specifically. I've seen a lot of people warn about Mexican camps, but UNICEF specifically, I hadn't, so I'll say no on that one. Rohingya refugees sue Facebook for $150 billion over the Myanmar genocide. I had not seen that one. Good on them. And hopefully tomorrow we're going to get to talk about the ExxonMobil lawsuit that's going to move forward. Once again, I was kind of, I just woke up and did the show. So I was a little ill-prepared today. At least 650 migrants died crossing the U.S.-Mexico border, most since 2014. International agency says yes. All right, so I believe this is the last of the quiz. Let's see what it says about me. My bias score is that I'm 44% to the left. And the reason it says I'm 44% to the left is because I engage with a lot of sources from a variety of perspectives. I have not seen anybody cook with a Bunsen burner. That's not something I'm very familiar with. I can't. You engage with a lot of sources from a variety of perspectives, and that makes me biased to the left. Reality makes you biased to the left. My factuality score. Most of your news sources are reliable in their reporting, but some may sensationalize. So I'm assuming that's all the right-wing shit that I picked out. In terms of topic bias results, I'm right in the middle about censorship, apparently. When it comes to vaccine mandates, I'm very liberal. When it comes to the LGBTQ, I'm very liberal. When it comes to abortion, I'm conservative. What? When it comes to Trump, I'm in the middle. COVID, I lean liberal. When it comes to Black Lives Matter, I lean conservative. And when it comes to immigration, I lean liberal. What? Doesn't really make a lot of sense. So the bias score, that rating is based on the U.S. political scale. It reflects the political bias of the news publications you selected and is calculated using third-party news monitoring organizations. Their methods include editorial reviews, blind bias surveys, independent reviews, and third-party research. The factuality score, this rating represents a continuum between fact and falsehood. It reflects the reporting practices of the news publications you selected and calculated using third-party news monitoring organizations. Their methods include editorial reviews, blind bias surveys, independent reviews, and third-party research. The Lib Patrol with Justin Sorkin. Well. There you have it. Once again, it's hilarious that I'm biased to the left because I engage with a lot of sources from a variety of perspectives. I think that's highly telling. All right, last story we're going to touch on tonight. Tampa Bay Buccaneers player Antonio Brown drops a rap song hours after storming off the field shirtless mid-game. I'm going to go, apparently there is a rumor going around that he's dealing with some CTE and that we should be very concerned for his well-being. So, as I read this, I want you to know that I'm reading it with compassion. I'm not going to mock the motherfucker. Yes, we got the video of it. So, this is the video of him leaving the field.
Antonio Brown boiled over, very upset on the
What?
Antonio Brown boiled over, very upset on the sideline, took off his shoulder pads. Mike Evans, O.J. Howard trying to convince him to keep them on. Obviously, they were unable to do so. He tossed his shoulder pads.
I've also heard some kind of rumor that he had a bonus that he was getting ready to capitalize on, and somehow the league, I don't know shit about football. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but they're trying to stop him from being able to capitalize on that bonus somehow.
Stripped off His shirt and glove, threw those into the crowd, then ran across the field while the teams were still on the field, giving the crowd a peace out sign. I'll let you know when we hear something official on his status.
You saw him throw his jersey. Apparently, we can see from the actual sideline what happened. Here's him pulling off his jersey. You can just assume everybody fucking has COVID now, pretty much. Now, this was in New York. This motherfucker is pulling off his... He's a Tampa Bay player. This is in New York. It bound to be cold because everybody is wearing goddamn jackets. This motherfucker out here shirtless. I love that the fans are waving bye to him. Now, it could be the New York fans taunting him, I guess. So, wild. Brown, who goes by the stage name AB, it was dragged last year for collaborating with 6ix9ine, dropped the song earlier this evening. The song titled Pit Not the Palace doesn't appear to address any of the events that took place earlier in the day, but rather Brown's high-end lifestyle. People have already begun to speculate if Brown's on-field stunt was just a promo for the new track. You can listen to it at the bottom of this post. The Buccaneers ended up winning the game, but when Brown took off his gear and left the field, they were trailing the Jets 24-10. This is the first song Brown has released in the last couple of years. In 2021, he dropped a 15-track album titled Himothy. Has dropped various singles since 2019. Following AB's stunt on the field, he's been released from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The team's head coach, Bruce Arians, revealed that Brown is no longer a Buck after walking off the field shirtless during the game's third quarter. The coach said, "I'm not talking about it. He's not part of the Bucks." The exact reason that Antonio Brown walked off the field mid-game is unclear, but Fox Sports reporter Jen Hill shared after the ordeal that AB boiled over in frustration and that he was very upset from the sideline. AB recently caught flack in a 3-game suspension for using a fraudulent vaccine card to bypass the NFL's COVID-19 protocols. God damn. He was one of those. Once again, like, CTE is a real possibility. Apparently there are people saying that he needs to be treated with compassion. I also saw, like, if the league is trying to fuck him out of whatever kind of bonus he was going to capitalize on. Once again, I don't know shit about football. These are all just rumors at this point. But, you know, fuck the league for trying to fuck him over if they were. Fuck him for his fake vaccine fucking card. Also, it appears that sports leagues have just given up on trying to contain COVID. Great. Both things can be true. That we can have compassion for him for having CTE, and he can also be a shit human being. But, and like, the rant I went on with the woman the other day, you know, I like... misinformation. I feel sorry for people that don't have critical thinking skills and fall for bullshit. That is why I feel schools need to focus on... We need to teach it like Aristotelian logic in fucking 8th grade. You need another class by like your senior year where you're covering like Descartes and Hume, fucking Locke and shit like that. We need to teach kids how to think, how to evaluate sources and information. All right, I'm going to go make some soup, but before we do, here is video of a tiger trying to catch some lunch, but apparently not having much luck. There is a duck in the water, and it outsmarts the tiger. This other tiger's like, dude, you suck. How you gonna let that duck do you like that, huh? Those are really fucking pretty tigers. They look like they're in captivity, so like you don't need to eat that duck, dude. They're gonna feed you some food. You stay the fuck away from that ducky. A fucking piranha just comes up and eats the duck. I think it's like fucking quackers over here doing a great job of avoiding the predator. I just wonder if like that's that tiger's wife and she's gonna come over here like, dude, you suck. Giving it hell. I love these kinds of videos. Alright, if you're watching on Twitch, I'm going to send you over to Echoplex Media. It is a Meltdown Monday with the Media Winch. She's not quite live yet, but you know Echoplex is going to be playing some good tunes for you before she comes on. Please stick around. Tell the Media Winch, hey. It's her first night back in a couple weeks. Took some time off to spend with the family, so it's going to be nice to hear from the Winch again. Who apparently had a really good time on New Year's Eve, but I'll let you guys, I'll let her tell you guys about it. So go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I am Justin Freakin. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live.